Hey folks, this is Christian Ballard here at Let's go, get on base! And good morning, everybody. It is the Christian Ballard Show, episode 1 here at Ballard Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing great. Hit that thumbs up on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're also live on the Christian Ballard Sports Journalist page on Facebook, and we're live on the Ballard Sports Facebook page this morning. And I want to go ahead and talk about this show, what it's going to look like. Since it is the first episode, we got a little bit to talk about this morning. It probably won't be as long as maybe some future episodes, but we'll see how long this one goes today. We do want to recap the NFL draft this morning. There's a lot to talk about regarding that. The weekend has wrapped up. It is Monday. It's 6 a.m. Central Time. A little tired this morning, but you know what? I'm up. I'm going at it. It's April 28th. We're almost in May, which means summer is right around the corner, which means that we're just getting closer and closer to football. I mean, you have August 30th. Every college football team kicks off that weekend. What are some of the big games that weekend? Auburn plays Baylor, I believe. I'm not even sure who Georgia opens up with. I mean, I've done their schedule preview, but let me see. Marshall. That's not a bad opener. I mean, they'll probably blow out Marshall. Marshall's a good school. It's a good football program too. Historic in the group. And of course, Alabama at Florida State. That line's at 10.5, according to ESPN Bet. I think the two big games, though, on that Saturday that I look at personally, unless I'm overlooking something, there's really three listed that stand out. And we're still waiting on some times to be announced and everything. LSU goes to Clemson, a battle of Death Valleys. Clemson is favored already by 2.5. Ohio State hosts Texas, which I think is going to be Lee Corso's last game day. Ohio State already favored by 3. Tennessee and Syracuse. Alabama at Florida State. I guess that's 4. Alabama's favored by 10.5 against Florida State. Is that accurate? I mean, I guess for right now it is. You can't put them like too high up a favorite because Florida State's got to get better than what they were last year. I think personally. Um, that's just my own opinion. I think they have to be better unless they're going to stay as mediocre as they were last year. And no, this isn't a bashing of Florida State. We all know how bad of a team they were. Anyway, there's your college football talk for today, I guess. We do want to get in to the NFL draft. Obviously, as you guys know, if you're football fans, you know the NFL draft was this past weekend. What were some of the best and worst draft moments for 2025? Well, you had what'd you have? 258 picks, 259, something like that. Uh, you had more than you usually do, I think. Oh, 252. Okay. Well, no, that can't be right. What is this? Pick number. Let me sort that. I'm looking at a draft board. 257. And the Patriots from Kansas City uh, traded to get that last pick. I think that's pretty interesting. I don't remember the last time the Patriots had Mr. Irrelevant, but shout out to Kobe Minor, a defensive back of Memphis. Probably play him at safety. He is Mr. Irrelevant 2025. There's that. But we do want to talk about some of these picks, like what trades, what selections, and also what happened with Shador Sanders. I think I had made a video on this the other day, and I had talked about it. I feel like we need to address it again. But was Shador Sanders, and this doesn't just apply to him, but we're gonna ask, was he the only player that got drafted too late? Or were there others? I think you're always going to have players get drafted later than they should because you only have 32 teams that pick in the first round, unless you trade and you trade out of the first round, or whether that's on draft night or prior to the draft. We'll talk about that a little bit later because that's a whole subject in and of itself uh, for later in the show. This might be a shorter episode than what you'll usually see, but we'll be consistent. We'll be straightforward. We'll have some fun on here, take calls and everything for this show. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern is what we want to do. Okay. We'll get it going. So I look at some of these picks, I look at some of the trades, some of the best and worst moments from the draft. The 2025 NFL draft is officially in the books. What were some of the best and worst moments? I think the best moment, I think personally, and I did not see this coming by any means necessary. I don't. Ooh. Now we know what was offered in this trade. But the Jacksonville Jaguars were on the clock at number 2, and they won the Travis Hunter two-way, pun intended, sweepstakes. They won the sweepstakes for Travis Hunter. And what we got in this trade were the Browns receiving the 5th overall pick in round 1, the 36th overall pick in round 2, the 4th round pick, 126 overall, and the Jacksonville Jaguars 2026 first rounder. And the Jaguars in return got that number 2 pick for Travis Hunter, got the 104 pick in round 4, and got the 200th overall pick in round 6. I forgot to quote where exactly I found that. I want to say it was NFL.com, but I can fact check myself on this. Jaguars trade for Travis Hunter. Let's make sure, because I don't want to be out here. Uh, let's see what CBS Sports said here. Maybe it'll tell us what we got. What did they get? I want to make sure I have this correct. So this was the biggest trade in the draft for sure. For sure it was. So yeah, here we go. This is from CBS Sports, Jonathan Jones. He quotes or says, I quote from him, Browns received the 5th overall selection, the 4th pick in Friday night, second round, number 36. Got that. Number 126, got that. And then the first round pick next year. The Jags will get the 4th round pick, number 104, and a 6th round pick, number 200 overall. So I got that. We got it. I just want to keep myself straight on this stuff, you know? I want to make sure I'm not giving you misleading information because that's never good. But I think that's the moment of the night right there, at least night one. I saw the Browns. I was with some friends watching the draft. I saw the Browns were on the clock. And when I saw that it said trade alert, I was like, what are they doing? I had no idea it was going to be Jacksonville. I didn't know who I think it was going to be, but it says trade alert before it shows you who's trading up. But as soon as I saw trade alert, I'm like, oh, wow. I said someone either traded up for like Shador or Travis Hunter. It had to be the Colorado boys. And it was Travis Hunter. When I saw it was Jacksonville, I said, oh, they're going Travis Hunter here. I just I think everyone kind of knew that, right? And I think it's a good pickup. I think you get a defender that's very lengthy as a corner, loves to go after the football. If you're Jacksonville, you have that. And you also get an extra weapon at wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence. You need that. You want that. You killed two birds with one stone. So, wow. And speaking of Colorado, no, I don't want to talk about Colorado necessarily. That might have been one of the best moments of the draft was the sweepstakes there that the Jags won that trade, getting Travis Hunter. He's going to be a stud. We got another best. We'll talk about the Bears, but the worst. It was only the worst because it was shocking to everyone, I think. I don't want to get into the argument of Shador and Dion and character issues or egos. I don't want to talk about that. If you're Shador Sanders, who's a really talented quarterback, he really is. It was not a bad thing that Cleveland took him, but I almost said something I might want to take back. Let me put it this way: winners and losers of this draft. I do think the Browns are winners for getting Shador Sanders. But I don't think Shador, in a nice way I say this, is necessarily a winner in these sweepstakes, right? Like he's not. He had to wait till the 5th round. He's better than that. We know it. Nobody wanted to take him. I don't know if it's name brand, not like bias, but is there pressure to have this kid perform? And you just don't want that pressure coming into your franchise. I think that's fair to talk about. And was Shador the only player that got drafted too late? Let's share screen here something real quick. Um, there's going to be names on this list. I'm sharing from the Wikipedia, which is at least accurate in terms of all the selections. There's a couple that were forfeited, like one or two. Um, there were some picks, obviously some trades. I like the Cody Simon pick. Cody Simon, man, from Ohio State, the linebacker, 115 to the Arizona Cardinals. I guess he went about where he should have. Some picks were a reach. On day 3, is there really such thing, though, as reaching for a guy? Or how do I want to put is there such thing on day 3 when you hit that 4th round and you say everyone's gonna get drafted now, you're gonna have all these guys, then you'll have some undrafted free agents and everything, but, like, can you really, quote, unquote, "reach"? 'Cause I remember, like, last year or the year before for the Bucks, who did they take? They took Graham Barton last year. I don't remember how I felt necessarily other than I thought it was a good pickup on the offensive line. Um, but anyway, I so you're gonna have guys go late, you're gonna have guys go early, and then you'll have guys in the middle that go around where they should. Were there really any like round one guys that were, oh man, they really rolled the dice there. He'll be good, but I wouldn't take him in the first round. Let's go through it. Cam Ward, number one overall, rightfully so. Jacksonville trades up for Cleveland's pick. They get Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter to the Giants. Will Campbell, Mason Graham. The Browns get at 5. Patriots get Will Campbell at 4. Ashton Genty to the Raiders. Armand Membu to Owen McMillan. Kelvin Banks, Colston Loveland. That's a pretty solid top 10 if you ask me. I don't think anyone reached for anybody. You had one trade in the top 10 with Cleveland and Jacksonville. That was good. And they each won, I think. And I think Mason Graham's a top 10 player. Heck, he was the best defensive tackle, not defensive player, not edge, tackle in this class. And he went in the first round like he should have. He should have been top 10. He was. In fact, he was top 5 at number 5. Michael Williams, if you look outside the top 10. Tyler Booker to the Cowboys. Kenneth Grant to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren to the Colts. Jalen Walker, Georgia linebacker to the Falcons. Walter Nolan. Shamar Stewart at 17 to the Bengals. Is that personally, I would have took James Pierce over Shamar Stewart, the guy out of Tennessee, personally. But I think either way it works for Cincinnati. I do. I don't think it's much of a reach there. Uh, Jahad Campbell fell to 31 with the Eagles. Not a reach. Maybe he fell a couple picks than we thought. I think what really set it off, not to keep talking about Shador Sanders, what really set it off for me, though, Jackson Dart in the first round to the Giants at 25. Ooh. Now Houston traded out. The Giants go up. They get a first round quarterback. Jackson Dart's really, really good. And I'm sure he's going to be great. And it could actually end up finally being that long term franchise guy for the Giants. We thought that way about Daniel Jones at first, too. So let's not get too far ahead. Um, I thought Jackson Dart would have made it to day 2. And, you know, that's just my personal opinion. Tyler Shuck of Louisville. Haven't really watched him too much. Louisville, pretty average, decent team this past year for the ACC. New Orleans gets them at 40. You're getting into round 2. Will Johnson. I thought Will Johnson was going to be a first rounder. He finally stopped his slide at 47 to the Cardinals. You know, so I don't think there were much of hey, you went too high on this guy. He's overrated. He's overdrafted. He's a reach. I don't really feel that way about any of these guys in the draft. I just don't. Anyway, what about the best for the draft? Who won the draft? In my opinion, the team that really won the draft, when I look at 2025 and I look at all the classes and I look at what this particular team was able to do. Uh, I'm gonna go the Chicago Bears. Yeah, yeah, they went offense their first 3 picks, invested in Caleb Williams. Now, I don't know too much about the Boston College offensive tackle, Ozzie Trapilo at 56. I don't know. Then they went defense their next 3. Then they went back to offense in round 6, and they got a running back in round 7. So, the Bears probably have one of the better classes, of anybody. They started out at number 10. They go Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan. That's great. Then they go Luther Burden in round 2. They trade up a spot or so. They had 3 second-round picks. They skipped the 3rd round. They had 4, 5, 6, and 7, okay? So they had 7 picks, 8 picks, and 3 of them came in the 2nd round. You don't see that too often. But the Bears did what they had to do. They went Colson Loveland at 10, Luther Burden in 2nd round from Missouri, gets a trade with Carolina. At 39 overall, they take Luther Burden. Okay, cool. Ozzie Trapilo from Boston College, offensive tackle. That's a pick from Minnesota via Houston and Buffalo. Ozzie Trapilo, 56 overall. Uh, that's pretty good. He's 6'8", 316. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. And move. I've watched him play a little bit, heard the name, thrown around. I've watched him a little bit on my own. I say, okay, he's talented. He's really, really good. The Bears won this draft. Luke Newman from Michigan State, Za Frazier from UTSA, running back Kyle Monangai from Rutgers. Heard that name. Shamar, well, that was the Bengals. I'm getting too far here. But I think their first 2 picks for the Bears, investing really 3, if you count Ozzie Trapilo, the offensive tackle. You go up, you invest in your quarterback, you get him 2 weapons, you get him a tight end and a wide receiver, you get him the O line, you get him protection. That's what you need for Caleb Williams. You later on get a running back in the 7th round. I don't know if it's going to work out with this particular running back, but you're trying to invest in Caleb Williams. He is the future of this franchise. He is the future of the Chicago Bears. He's one of the guys that's going to make the future of the NFL. I believe that. And they invested in him in a large way in the 2025 draft. That's the Chicago Bears. Who else here? Uh, I think the Browns won. I really do. They got not 1, but 2 quarterbacks. Um, so they got not only did they get Shador in round 5, they had picked up at 94 Dylan Gabriel, a pick from Buffalo. Trade into that. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Who else they get? Harold Fannin, the tight end out of Bowling Green. Quinshaw Judkins, the running back out of Ohio State. So wait, hold on. They took 2 running backs. The Browns took 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, a tight end, a linebacker, and a defensive tackle. Not bad. Not bad at all. I like it. I like the move. I think the Cleveland Browns. They you give these guys that they just drafted, you give them some time, they're going to be dangerous. It's going to be hard to keep up with all that. It really is. So, uh, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. A lot of people won this draft, but again, to get back to this question, I don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to get too far off topic. Um, I think obviously Shador was the guy drafted later than anybody else, later than he should have. I won't get far into it again, but I do think that there were a couple different players out there that got drafted a little too late. I'll admit it. I mean, you're looking at obviously Shador Sanders. You're looking at uh Azure Thomas of Florida State went in the third round. A lot of people had him early day two. He was late. So maybe he went a little later than expected. A lot of great guys out there. Jalen Milrow went 92 overall. That's about right. Went to the Seahawks. Pulling for him. Who else probably went late? I'm surprised no one took Jack Kaiser on day two, Cam Scatterboo, the running back out of Arizona State. Um, Cody Simon, I think, is really, really good for Ohio State. He's now with the Cardinals. Why wasn't he selected? Not round one. I think we got it right in round one outside of the Shador thing. Why was he not selected on day two? Did he go late? It's possible. There's so much. Man, there is so much. There's more guys that went higher than they should have than there are guys that went too late. Really, overall, I think Shador is the only one that went really late. I think that's fair. You could say all these other names. Ollie Gordon of Oklahoma State to the Dolphins. Yeah, we know that name, but he's day three like he should be. No offense. There's nothing wrong with being. Look, if you get drafted, I don't care if it's day one, two, three, or a million. You got an opportunity to get drafted and hear your name called. Be grateful. Grateful for it. Kyle McCord of Syracuse, formerly at Ohio State. He goes 181 to the Eagles. Will Howard of Ohio State, formerly at Kansas State, 185 to the Steelers. That's I would say that's late for him. Sixth round should have been late third, early fourth, but he slid a little bit. Riley Leonard in the sixth round sounds about right. Tim Smith, Alabama, goes 190 to the Colts in round six. I guess that's accurate. Uh, let's see. Graham Mertz, 197. Okay, cool. Mm, yeah, there's some guys that went late. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. So, but again, to answer the question, Shador, the only player that got drafted too late? For the most part, yes. Overall, no, he wasn't the only player that got taken late, but he was the latest of those players because a lot of people, regardless of how you feel about Shador, you cannot deny talent. He's talented. A lot of people have to come to the conclusion that he is a first round grade. He was a first round grade. Even if he's selected like 25th, he was going to go in the first round. He was supposed to. But that did not happen. That did not happen at all. Anyway, I just I don't know, man. Shador, I'll be honest, like he got cheated. He got robbed. He got snubbed. Nobody wanted the drama though. Not that he had legal issues or anything, at least that we knew of. At least I don't know. He's kind of got a big head a little bit. I'm not trying to put him down. I'm not trying to beat him up here. I'm not. I just think that, all know and see that Shador Sanders, being Dion's kid, is in the spotlight. And is that a bad thing? No, I get it. If you're the son of a legendary player like Dion and you do play football, like Shiloh, Shador, I still don't even know. Travis Hunter, is that still one of his kids? I mean, I'm sure he's like his son, but is he actually? Anyway, I'm getting off topic there. But these guys, Dion's going to coach these guys to play some ball. He is. But he was a fun guy. He was a funny guy, and he kind of had a little bit of an ego back in the day. I mean, he's not the only one. But do egos fly these days in football? Can they fly in the NFL? That's that's a good question. I didn't even put this in the show notes, but gotta hear from you guys. That's a good topic. We could talk more about it another day, but is it bad to have too much of an ego if you're a college football player or an NFL player, specifically NFL? Oh man, that's a good question. That's a good conversation starter here. Timothy, what's up, buddy? A great player doesn't mean nothing unless you can be coached. How's he going to play when someone else is your coach besides your dad? That is true. He has only been coached by Dion. That's fair. I'll give you that. Um, yeah, ooh, that that's a big deal. Um, hold on one second. What's this? Anyway, I don't know. That's a big deal. I mean, yeah. How is Kevin Stefanski going to be the coach? It's not Deion Sanders, right? And now Shador, because Coach Prime ain't leaving Colorado. Now we could joke, and we did joke prior to the draft and everything. We said, "Oh, he's going to go to the Cowboys. He's going to go to the Cowboys or the Falcons or somewhere he played, and blah blah blah. He's going to go back to the NFL. He's going to draft his sons. He's going to follow them." As I like to put it, Daddy Dion. Okay. Um, but yeah, to make light of this comment here, Timothy, a great player doesn't mean nothing unless you can be coached. How's he going to play when someone else is your coach besides your dad? And I now see what you're trying to say. Like you want to know how he's going to play when it's not Dion coaching him. If I'm understanding correctly. Like he's going to get some playing time for the Browns, but it's not Dion running the show over there. It's somebody else. So I I want to see that too. I want to see him crack under pressure. I want to see some other coach yelling in his face. See how he handles it, you know? No, I'm sure Dion's tough on the kid. I'm sure about it, but I think that like it could get tougher. It really could. I feel the same way about Travis Hunter going to Jacksonville. I feel the same way about Shiloh being with the Bucks. Shiloh Sanders got undrafted free agent status. Buccaneers picked him up. How's he going to react to Todd Bowles? It's not Dion. No. Now they could be just as tough, or maybe they could even be just as relaxed. That's fine. No two people are exactly the same, you know? Something's different. And you got to put up with the fact that they might rub you the wrong way sometimes. You got to put up with that. Good point, Timothy. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Uh, I think I'll get this one going till about 7. Usually, I'd like to have a 2-hour show, but since it's our first one, we kind of read through everything. I'm going to drop the StreamYard link if you want to call in. Um, Feel free to hit that link. Would really appreciate you guys joining. I should have dropped it earlier, and I guess I didn't. We'll take some calls, and I'd like to do that on this show going forward because I do think that that's weird. It's not wanting to post a string on YouTube. Give me 1 second. Let me figure out what's going on here. It says it posted. It's just not showing on my end. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you hit that link, I would really love to hear from you guys. Give your thoughts. Let your voice be heard on anything we talked about, or maybe something we didn't talk about. It could be college football. It doesn't even have to be sports related. Let's talk about life. How's life going for everybody? You know, I ain't got to get into all the details, but I just want to know how the people are doing. That's it. I'm a man of the people here. Um, yeah. Draft. See some of the undrafted free agents signings. Um. Oh, what have the Raiders done? Let's see this. I want to see who they've picked up in undrafted free agents. Okay. Check this out here. Let's see what the Raiders are up to. Viva Las Vegas. Parker Clements, offensive tackle, Virginia Tech. I probably know none of these guys, by the way. Matt Jones, linebacker for Baylor. Jaw Joyner, defensive edge from Minnesota. Jared or Gerard Hufford, offensive lineman, Iowa State. I know Hudson Clark. I know him. And I think I've heard that name, Mello Dotson from Kansas. I don't know Carter Runyon, a tight end from Townsend. John Humphrey, USC. Haj Malik Williams, UNLV quarterback. Okay. Making some moves there. They've had a good offense. Greedy Vance, Pat Conroy, Jalen Walker, not to be confused with the Georgia player. This is actually Indiana. Jordan Taylor, corner out of James Madison. Anthony Booker from SMU. And Zachary Franklin of Illinois. Let's see who else we can find. Let's just go to the all 32 teams here. Get this ad out of the way. Josh Fryer, Ohio State to the Cardinals. Jeremiah Byers from Florida State. Oscar Cardenas, tight end UTSA. Bryson Green after Elijah Simmons, a nose tackle from Tennessee. Heard the name Nick Nash, a good player there. Simeon Barrow got picked up to the Falcons. Kobe Bryant of Kansas. I thought he'd get drafted. Jordan Williams of Georgia Tech. Dante Manning of Oregon. Auburn player here. Jay Higgins. There's a lot of guys that probably should have been drafted, in my opinion. Let's see. Anyone I like really stand out here? Um, the Panthers signed a lot. Any quarterbacks I see? Let's see if we can find some quarterbacks here. Peyton Thorne and Seth McLaughlin. Oh, the Bengals are really trying to pick up some guys here. Seth McLaughlin, the center of Ohio State. Howard Cross from Notre Dame. Peyton Thorne of Auburn. Interesting there. There was one other that just stood out to me. Maybe not. Good class for the Bengals, I think. Fought a Fairweather from Auburn. I always like to see the Auburn and Alabama players just being in the state here. Uh, Detroit Lions. Who they got? Nobody I see that I recognize. Oh, wow. Look, Nazir Stackhouse to the Packers. He could go from undrafted free agent to possible starter. Big guy. He's fast. He's shifty. He can pancake you. Did not get drafted, but picked up by Green Bay. Let's go. Patrick Herbert to the Jaguars. He is Justin Herbert's brother. Okay. Cameron Silman Craig from Colorado. Sal Wormley from Penn State. BJ Green from Colorado. And two guys from Arkansas, Jaquindon Jackson, Donico Slaughter. It's a lot for the Chiefs there, too. Jake Brenningstool from Clemson, tight end. Will Brooks from Tennessee. Vegas Raiders. Look at this. I can't make this up. Holy cow. Chargers. DJ Uyunglele. No disrespect. I'm just saying. Florida State was the worst Power 4 team last year. Part of the problem is because DJ couldn't throw a football. But he did get picked up. I wish him luck. I do hope it turns around for him. I also got Rocket Raheem Sanders here. Jalen Jones. Oh, the Chargers are making some moves here. This is good. A few corners. Miami Dolphins. Nealon Hibbett, long snapper from Alabama. UG Asante, watch that name. Nate Noel from Missouri. There's some good names for the Dolphins here. One, two, three, four Auburn players. Minnesota, even their punter. New England Patriots. C.J. Dupree. I saw that one. Cam Riley of Florida State linebacker. Saw that. I haven't seen any of these others. Let's skip down. Let's go to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Here's who we got. I'm just finding out about these two. I knew about Shiloh, but that was it. John Bullock, a linebacker from Nebraska. Desmond Watson. Oh, I knew about him. Shiloh Sanders. Connor Bazelak, the former Missouri guy at quarterback. Will Shepard, a wide receiver out of Colorado. Jake Majors, O-line, Texas. Almost said Texas A&M, just Texas Longhorns. Josh Williams, running back from LSU. Anthony Landfear, a tight end from Memphis. Ben Scott from Nebraska. Ben Chukwuma, offensive tackle, Georgia State. Ryan Coe, place kicker from Cal. Roman Parody, a cornerback, Ohio. Garrett Green. Wait a minute. Connor Bazelak, Garrett Green. You got Baker. You got Kyle Trask. They're just trying to build depth right now. Practice squad, right? I got you. Now, he transitioned to wide receiver, Garrett Green did. J.J. Roberts, a defensive back of Marshall. Okay. I like it. I do like it. All right. Let's see. I think this works for a first show here. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Timothy, thanks for the comment. Love and appreciate you. Love and appreciate all you guys. We're going to do this Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings at 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern. Probably be an hour show for a little bit, get it going for a while, and we'll start picking it up. We'll start getting guests if we can. But this is the Christian Ballard Show. This is the one we need to blow up here. This is it. Okay? I would appreciate all the love and support and the help to grow this one. It would mean a lot. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Happy Monday. Have an awesome and blessed week ahead. And we'll see you next time here at BSM. Hey, folks, this is Christian Ballard here at